we have 21 votes for, none against, and no abstentions, so the motion is carried. And we will go on with the election of the president, Gabriel. Gabriel President, since we are going back into election procedures, I will pass the chair to Andre, and I will ask the current executive to please go to the back and the elected executive to join me here in front. Thank you. Please be silent. We will be going on now that the new executive is at the table with the election of the president, Max Willie Georgi, which is proposed by PPHD Germany and seconded by CPSA Croatia. And I will ask the candidate to come forth and present his opinion and speech.
Dear General Assembly, good morning. I'm here today because I want to become the next president for EPSA for the mandate 2023-2024. Throughout the years, I've been active in student associations on the local level, national level, and the international level, including EPSA. Back when I joined my first autumn assembly for EPSA in 2018, I was already president for EPHD for 1.5 years in the process of transforming that association, increasing its impact, and increasing the professionalism of its work. Back then, I saw the work of the EPSA team. I saw Eva as a president, and I would never have guessed that one day I would feel ready and suited to take over this position and to lead this organization. Time has passed, more than 4 years since then, and EPSA has evolved, and so have I. I got to know EPSA better from the outside and also from the inside. I was part of the EPSA team 2020, 2021, and the EPSA team 2021, 2022 as training coordinator. In that specific position, I was taking care of a specific part of EPSA, but I was also able to see the work of my fellow teammates and also of EPSA in general. I got to know it better, and throughout those 2 years, we as teams had the task to stabilize EPSA and make sure that after the COVID-19 pandemic, the students could come back together and enjoy all that the association has to offer. Events like this year, this annual Congress, and also the Autumn Assembly in Athens show that it was possible, that we were successful, and that we're now back together here. So now it's time to go on and go further beyond. I want to take over this position and I want to be part of the team and lead it. I want to support my team members with my expertise and experience and create an environment where they are happy to work for EPSA, where they're productive, and where we can all contribute towards achieving the current strategic plan and propose a new one to go on in terms of strategy and work towards its mission and vision. I know that I have the experience and the skills and the expertise to help my fellow team members and to lead the team successfully. I've watched the position of the president for a few years now. I've watched Kurt, I've watched Eva, I've watched Mihai, I watched Joseph, and now I watch Gabriel. I assessed what was going on. I had my opinions and made my own strategies and thought of what I would do if I would ever be in this position. I created my strategy, and now I think it's time to put that into action and to throw my hat in the ring to actually do the work. I'm at a place in life where I can take on this huge commitment, and I want to do it, and I want to commit. Together with the next EPSA team, I want to be the president, and I want to help actively engage at the student level, at the professional level, bringing pharmacy, knowledge, and students together to promote personal development, to promote international and cultural exchange, to advocate for the students' rights and opinions. And I hope that today you will give me the chance to do that. I'm here for your questions. I'm here for you to test me. So please do.
Thank you. Now, PPHD, you can have your 1 minute speech, proposing speech.
Now, PPHD Germany. Dear GA, it is an honor for us to propose Max as president candidate. Probably all of you have met him at some point during the several years he has been active in EPSA. He was CPHD's president for 2 years and has played a crucial role in bringing our association forward. By implementing a smoothly running internal structure, he has had impact on the professionalization and the standing of our association regarding the policy and educational affairs on a national level. We highly appreciate his leadership skills, knowledge, and his visionary approach. With the help of his experience, he is still contributing as an active alumnus to achieve our long-term goals. We see a lot of dedication in that for the future of all pharmacy students, and we are convinced that EPSA will benefit a lot from Max being the new president. Thank you.
Thank you, PPHD. And now I will ask the seconder to present a 1 minute speech.
Even a CPSA courageous. From the outside, EPSA should have a professional approach with partners and should be available and close to member associations. Since Max was the president of VPHD and made many collaborations and connections, EPSA's reputation can only grow more. From the inside, EPSA team members should have a fruitful communication for it to bring the most out of every position. Lots of problems occur in communication, and that is why some positions didn't fulfill the potential of their work. Max would know how to react and to deal with human interaction problems, lack of motivation, and stress management within the team. Max cares about EPSA and its future, and he's willing to give all his remarkable training skills, all his leadership experience from VPHD, and all the knowledge he has about EPSA that he gained in so many years and time he devoted for EPSA's growth. With this, we give full support to Max because we really believe that the experience and the passion he has for this position is crucial for EPSA to grow. Thank you.
Thank you, CPSA. And now I will open the floor for questions for the candidates. Amir?
Bonjour Annette France. Can you elaborate more on the strategy that you want to give for advocacy and policy? Thank you.
Max. Thanks, Willie. President candidate. Thank you for your question. I think the most important thing in the strategy of EPSA advocacy and policy right now is to educate the students about what advocacy and policy actually is and how we do this work. I think that the advocacy work in the past few years have been outstanding, and also the development of skills that has happened within the team has been amazing. But now it's time to also share the knowledge with the other team members, with the new team, with the LSs, and make sure that also the students can be part of that. We have in the strategic plan the development of the white paper and the review of that. I would like to set a focus on that and also support Charlotte in leading this the advocacy strategy.
Thank you. Next on the list, we have Atef, followed by CPSA.
Please, Albert Portugal. Our question would be regarding accountability because we've seen that this mandate and on Gabriel's report we have a lot to he had a lot to say about accountability and what should be done or not. So about the accountability spreadsheet, how do you envision this going forward, and how do you plan to keep your team motivated? Because you state that many times in your application.
Actually, President candidate, thank you for your question. So also yesterday was discussed that the procedures about investigating that there needs to be an investigation. What happens if a team member is suspended? Um, that regulation has been put in place a few years back, back when a lot of people were dropping and EPSA wanted to have consequences for them. Right now, it has created the problem that in some cases the consequence is too high, and so it's stigmatized to go for that. I think this investigation is one of the crucial points that I want to assess when it comes to holding my team members accountable and motivating them. I think it's important for me to be open to them, reachable at any time for any problem, and also to like show them that I support their ideas and to support their work. Gabriel said that it was challenging for times that he had to um, tell people from time to time, and I would like to do this more often.
Thank you. Next on the list we have CPSA followed by KMPSB.
If a main candidate be the Czech Republic, what would you do if there were conflicts between the team or executive members? Thank you.
Actually, President candidate, when it comes to a conflict, I would like to mediate, so hear both sides and bring them together in hopefully a neutral space where they can talk and reach to a conclusion. I think it's always important to have someone who's able to be open for both sides and to propose solutions on how to go forward. When it comes to conflicts in the EPSA team on the personal level, then we have to be able to still to do the professional work together, and I want to provide the space and the discussions for them, and hopefully reach a conclusion to them.
Thank you. Next we have KMPSB followed by Shus.
ABCA PhD the Netherlands. Can you elaborate on your communication strategy with all the team members and specifically not just during live events, but also in the moments in between where you have to live in different countries and still stay in contact through online users?
Actually, President candidate, I think the most important communication that is happening in the team is within the departments. That's like the safe space that the team members have. So I want to help my VPs to make sure that in their department they have good collaboration. In order for the team to come together, I would propose to continue the town hall meetings that have happened in the last 2 Mondays that have been started, and to use that as a space where everyone can celebrate what they have been working on to share the work and also to see if there's discussions for them to come together. A crucial part is the team building in the beginning of the mandate, so for people to be able to come together, to show themselves, and to accept each other in order to be able to work with each other. In the past few mandates, we have had multiple chat groups also. I would like to move that all to the Google Workspace that EPSA is using to have one dedicated platform for that and to use that work. And I'm really great at making news to bring it to light and bring it together.
Thank you. Now we have Shus. Sorry, let me see the dialects. KMPSB, go ahead.
ABCA PhD the Netherlands. Thank you for your answer. Could you elaborate more on you specifically? Because now you're talking about the team, but it's also about the president and their involvement with all team members.
Actually, President candidate. So for me, it's important to have the individual communication with every team member. With the executive, I will have a lot of contact because we have the weekly meetings. But with the other team members, I will actively have to seek them out. So I would plan to reach them like kind of one by one, maybe one or two per week, and to just check up on them. Because with a big team like that, we need to have rotations, and I cannot be in contact with all of them at the same time. Like I don't have the time, but like I can set like a rotation where I make sure that I can check up on them. And if something arises urgently with someone, then of course I'm there to contact them.
Okay, now we have Shus followed by Asif.
Anita, what shifts with the Slovenia in your
education, you mentioned you have an eye for patterns and dysfunctions in the past years. Can you give us some examples you have noticed in EPSA and how would you confront them?
Actually, President candidate. So what I just was referring to is that the departments are a safe space for the coordinators and themselves. It was hard in the past few mandates for them to come together as a team and also to communicate with each other because they had not enough time to get to know each other. During the team meetings, they were very formal and very strict to discussing points on the agenda. Every time there was a team meeting where the executive and PC were facilitating methods, they were giving a more open space. The team did enjoy that and feedback that it was helping them to come back together. So especially during the team meetings, I would like to change the facilitation and the cooperation so that they come together. One other thing is the dynamic between the executive and the coordinators. In the past few years, from what I've experienced, it was a very top-down approach from the executive towards the coordinators, and that led to not expressing ideas or concerns.
Thank you. Next we have Asif, followed by Anef.
This year, a lot of important partnerships have been built. How do you want to ensure that they will be continued next year, also in the case that there is no VPPR in the ER in the beginning?
Actually, President candidate. The work that the art department and especially Theo have done this year was outstanding, and we need to continue that. What's important, in my opinion, is to follow up with all of the partners that we have now and make sure that the active collaboration stays active, so that we have regular meetings and that we see that the collaboration is working good, that we are satisfied with them, but they are also satisfied with our work. So I would propose also regular meetings once I have a full overview of the partners, and hopefully by then we will also have the VP of External Relations, and then we need to advise a strategy on when to meet with whom.
Next from Asif.
Elena Asset Switzerland, thank you very much. And in case there is no VTER, how would you do that? Thank you.
Actually, President candidate. So in case there's no VPR, the task has to be done by someone else. I would certainly have to step up and take care of some of the relationships with the partners that we have, but I would also ask my team, especially also the other executive members, to help with that so that we can have a strategy on who goes with whom. I think that also the other VPs, they have contact anyway with some partners, so we can see like where beneficial collaboration is actually happening already and like set the task in line.
Thank you. Now we have Anef, followed by Ahmed.
Pauline Alain France. Regarding advocacy, what should be EPSA's position on the review of health and the role of and the I will say it with my French accent, and the review of the pharmaceutical legislation, which is currently under very intense discussion at the European level, and on which all the actors in the pharmaceutical field are currently working on. Thank you.
Actually, President candidate, I think what's most important is that EPSA is involved in that decision-making process. I don't I don't have a personal strategy for that. I would liaise with Charlotte on how we can do that. EPSA has been doing work on like how we can improve the pharmacy curricular. So I think we have some resources, especially with the methodology booklet and the work that has been done. And I think that we can assess together with the students what our position is. But at the moment, I don't have that position. I just know that we need to collaborate with them.
Thank you. Next we have AFO, followed by GBSF.
Elena, from Austria, you mentioned less regulation in your application. Do you have any examples for what you would
like to change in that regard? Thank you.
Maxwell, President candidate. I think I mentioned that the regulations need to be easier accessible. It is always the part of the executive to review the regulations that EPSA has and to propose changes to the GA if they see changes needed from the current work that we're doing. I think what's most, like in my opinion, the most difficult thing about the regulations is that there are a lot of them, that a lot of things are regulated, um, and you don't know where to find that. So I think it's important to help make this accessible and to ease this process. Maybe this will result in streamlining the documents, but in the sense, I would just continue the work that the previous executives have done.
Thank you. Next we have GPSF, followed by ANF.
Without EPSA place, what team management or project management tool do you plan using because would make sense in your project or
Actually, President candidate. I think the most important tool that we have is the Google Workspace. That's what we're using. So, as I mentioned, I would like to emphasize communication there because if the additional functions that are not being used at the moment, like Google Chat or Google Spaces, they can help make communication with the informal chats and the formal email system easier to collaborate because you can connect those, as well as investigate maybe if we should help with Google Tasks, or also to investigate. I don't know the exact outcome on how the last team worked with Podio, but if the feedback is good, then we can continue to work on Podio.
Thank you. Next we have ANF, followed by APEF.
Marianne and France, what are your plans for the next strategic period? Thank you.
Actually, president candidate, I think, well, first of all, we have the basis of the strategic plan and see what things have been achieved and are obsolete, or what things we can still work towards, and use that and set new goals for the specific areas that the strategic plan mentions now. Then for me, it's important to assess what the members want from the strategy in EPSA and also what the advice of the alumni is, and take all of this into consideration and create a new strategic plan.
Directly from APEF.
Beatriz of Portugal, do you have any concrete ideas that you would want to have implemented in this, like examples, so we can follow your ideas along this strategic plan that is going to guide EPSA through the next few mandates?
Okay, I can give some examples next for the president candidate. Um, First of all, I come from the educational department, so of course, continuing the development of the educational portfolio, all all in front of LEAP and developing that e-course platform is the most important thing within the next few years to make knowledge and accessible for students, for the professional development, as well as the other educational portfolios. They have to be revised and to see how we can benefit the students, like the science project. I think it's important to see what advocacy topics will be important in the next few years and to define the advocacy strategy in that in that regard, and to see how we can continue from now the white paper and also the pharmacy curricular development that has been going on.
Thank you. Next we have APEF, followed by APEF.
Beatriz of Portugal, uh, as president, imagining that the EPSA House project does not get the needed applications, uh, to ensure sustainable and financial stability for EPSA, are you available to do an internship for this matter?
Actually, president candidate, I do not plan on moving to Brussels and doing an internship. If it comes to that, to the case that you just mentioned, then I would be available because flexible, and I can rearrange the work, and if necessary, make a pause with the projects that I'm currently doing and move to Brussels. Um, I certainly hope that it will not come to that, but in the case that it comes to that, I'm flexible. I'm able to do that.
Thank you. Next we have Apef, followed by Apef.
Beatriz Apep, Portugal. The president, alongside the treasurer, has a crucial role in EPSA's finances this year, since both of them are needed to either facilitate the handover procedures with other with our current bank with our current bank manager, but also regarding the establishment of a French bank account and to be eligible for the FDVA grant. How do you plan on? What's your plans for this? And specifically, if you have limited availability.
I'm actually president candidate. So I've been talking to Gabriel about this situation, and he told me that they want to open the bank account in Strasbourg. So I would follow the recommendations that Gabriel and Thiago have started, and together with Katrini work on the implementation of that bank account. I've managed the finances for the PhD for half a year when our treasurer was not available to do so. So I have the experience in opening and managing bank accounts. And since it will be in Strasbourg, I'm able to travel there for free because I can travel for free in Germany.
Thank you. Next we have Fasifere.
First, as for Romania, how do you intend to improve relations between EFSA and the reception committees? Thank you.
I'm actually president candidate. So I've been talking to the reception committees that have been active after the pandemic, and all of them have expressed concerns and discontent in some way with the work and the collaboration that the EPSA team had. I think most important thing for me when I work with them is to be able and open and approachable for their concerns. There are periods of time in organizing a congress where the EPSA team has to be quick to answer in order to help them. For example, when we are in the process of applications and accepting participants to the Congress, together with the educational program, to plan that, secure the speakers. These are the most crucial points where collaboration needs to happen. And I think that with regular meetings and availabilities that we can propose to them to collaborate, that's important. But also not to have too many meetings that are unnecessary for the RCs.
Thank you. Next on the list we have KMPSV, ŞSSPD, AFOP, PPSA, ANEF, uh, AFOP, APEF, ANEF. And we will go with KMPSV.
Canadian KPG Netherlands. As you mentioned, you've been a training coordinator 2 years. You are still part of the training board, so you're very active in the educational department. However, EXA has got many departments, so can you express how you're going to balance them and what your focus is going to be on?
Actually, president candidate, the plans in general for the departments I've laid out in my nomination form. I think one crucial aspect is the collaboration of the PR department so that they can work together internally. I want to help the vice president of public relations with that, and then also to make sure that the collaboration between this department and the other department works. When it comes to the external relations department, I would like to support them. So far, what I've been seeing from the projects going on in the external relations department, they have been doing really well, and now it's time to continue them and to continue the work. So yeah, help them continue the work. With the education department, I think that the portfolio can be developed and that Katja has the experience also to go in there, so I would be open for her. Um, and when it comes to the administrative department, yeah, I think we need to come together and like see how we can best administrate the work of the executive and also of the team.
Thank you. Next, we have Shusisfudu, followed by Afop. Oh, there's a direct Q&A. Go ahead, Shusisfudu.
Anita, just for the Slovenia, um, what do what department is the least developed in your opinion, and how would you further develop it?
Actually, president candidate. So I think the one with the most potential at the moment is the PR department because there it's crucial for the collaboration to work together. The other departments have individual like can be developed for the individual positions and the individual projects. And it's good that they are able to collaborate, but in the PR department, it's crucial to collaborate and to bring those together. The other department where I think where we need to take like have an eye on is the European Affairs Department, especially with the situations with the grants right now. We need to be able to see how we can support the portfolio of the grant coordinator, and also when it comes to the advocacy, to see like how we can revise our advocacy strategy.
Thank you. We have a direct from Patrick.
Patrick, HLM, thank you for your answers so far. And also need to cut some costs in the upcoming periods, upcoming years. We're talking about developing portfolios. Are you also thinking or planning already to drop projects? And if so, which projects would you be most likely to drop?
And actually, president candidate, well, if it comes truly to the money, then I think the training project needs to go first, right? Because it's the most expensive. No, I think like with developing the portfolio, it's important to also see where we can cut costs. For example, in the what has happened in the PHSS portfolio that we strive more to go more for online public health campaigns instead for live ones. That's like an easy, cost efficient way um, to save money and also still contribute to the work. When it comes to cutting a project, I haven't thought about it yet because I don't think that we have a lot of unnecessary projects as we had a few years ago.
Thank you. We had Shusisfudu on the list, followed by Alpha.
Anita, just for the Slovenia, the president is a leader of the association. It is important to lead the association in the right direction and therefore have a feeling of self-judgment. Do you think you have enough self-judgment based on your previous work in EPSA?
Actually, president candidate, um, I would think that I'm self-aware of my strengths and also my weaknesses. When I applied for this position and when I took the decision and I knew who would be here, I also knew who was coming and I knew the concerns that would be expressed. In the past, I have made mistakes also as a training coordinator. I've made mistakes, especially when it comes to prioritizing which tasks I have to do and seeing which tasks um, I would put my energy into it. I have learned from that the portfolio like this I could not take over anymore. And when it comes to critical points, I'm thinking about what I'm doing constantly and trying to improve that. And I'm also always open for feedback. And so far, I've been trying to communicate that to everyone so that if there's something that they can tell me and that I can improve on that.
Game PSV.
Alien Activities in Netherlands. You mentioned about your the mistakes you made as a training coordinator. Can you elaborate on that? And also, can you show us why this won't happen again as a president?
Actually, president candidate. So I think the biggest mistake that I made was the communication side of how I communicated what I was doing. The pandemic back then was making it hard for me to actually like fulfill the portfolio and the role that I wanted to do, and I was struggling to put it into action. And in that moment, I was not communicating that what I was doing or what I like where I needed help or I needed to have more time. Um, that was because in the training project, as a training coordinator, you can do like you can develop in every direction. You can organize more events. You can develop the library. You can focus on the individual development. You need to think of the PR of the project, of the communication with the pool. There's so many things going on, and in that sense, I was overwhelmed with like making anything happen. When it comes to now, this position, like my central role is exactly the weakness I had then, like to communicate, but that's the job box that I'm signing up for.
Thank you. Another direct from KPSC.
Eline KBC Netherlands, thank you for clarifying that. But don't you think that a president in some way is also having a million projects at the same time and a million things that they have to prioritize in between? So can you elaborate on how you want to approach that?
Max.
Actually, president candidate. So when it comes to president, he's the leader of the association and also the leader of the team, and I need to make sure that the work is done. But the work, like a lot of the work, is not done by me but by the team. So I will never be able, like I know that I will never be able to like to do all of this by myself. Like right from the beginning, I know that I have to collaborate and communicate with the people. Like when it came to the training coordinator, especially in the beginning, I had this idea that I could do it and that I don't need the help. Um, that I learned throughout those 2 years that like especially the training project cannot be done alone. But as a president, like for me, it's very clear from the get-go that I will never be able to do this alone if I don't have the team with me, behind me, and if they don't trust me.
Thank you. Then we have AFAP followed by PPSA.
Elena of Austria, you said you've thought quite some time about the position of the president and also EPSA in general and your position in it. What are your reasons for the late application? Thank
Max.
Next will be president candidate. So I have been thinking about running for this position for I think 15 months in the period of 2021, 2022. Um, Back when Mihai was president and when Joseph was running to become president, I was thinking about running after Joseph and becoming the successor. When it came to that point in time, I were not in the situation in my personal life, also in my professional life, to be able to do this commitment, and I decided against that last year. I wanted to contribute to EPSA for a bit more and support the team, which I did. Now, 1 year later, when I saw what has happened after, like with the first round of applications, and especially the half of the executive didn't receive any applications, I started to think again about it, and I noticed that I still had the fire and the motivation to do it, and that's why I ran now.
Thank you. Now we have PPSA followed by Anef.
Hello, Mr. Poet. What do you think about the discussion about grant coordinator, about dropping the position of grant coordinator that we discussed during this GA? And yeah, because this will move to the next GA, so what's your opinion in this matter?
Max.
Actually, president candidate, when I heard about the proposal, I was initially surprised because of the role that grants have in securing the funding for EPSA, and especially on what has happened in the last year. So I was a bit surprised, but I think that the executive has weighed the pros and the cons of that. Now, luckily, we have 6 more months to see what we can do with the grant coordinator, also with the change in the portfolio. I think that it's very important that EPSA needs to have someone responsible for this task and that we see like who is able to be responsible for that, and I would I will assess that, and I will assess also the decisions that have been under the executive now, and see like how we can follow them, and also how we can use the input of the GA and the workload in actually doing our planned work in the next few months.
Thank you. Now we have Anif, followed by Afro.
Marianne and France, beside team management, in your opinion, what was lacking the most with the previous EPSA team?
Actually, president candidates, I honestly think that when it comes to the administrative work that they did an excellent job, and they improved the administrative work quite much. Um, from everything that I've seen and when I talk to people, what I read in the reports, I think that team management is the improving point, and the other points were quite good. That I wouldn't say that there's another mistake or anything.
Turning from Afif.
Beatriz Apel, Portugal. Since you mentioned that the administrative part of this mandate was something that you saw as very good, how do you plan on keeping this work? Since like you have a little different background on this topic.
Actually, president candidate, I intend on learning as much as I can in the handover period from Gabrielle and Marlene. The two have done an outstanding work, especially Marlene, in helping with the administrative with this work. I think that I want to see how they did it exactly. Like they show me their processes and how I can like reuse them in the next mandate, with hopefully then the next SecGen, also next treasurer and KIA to continue this work. So learn from the masters, I guess.
Thank you. Next we have Afro, Afif, Anif, Yupsa, Anif, PPSA, FASFRA, and ASIF. And we will go with Afro.
Elena out of Austria. The application you mentioned, you work with AI-powered learning platforms, and after that, you write about Leap. Do you plan to integrate AI into Leap, or what are your plans regarding that? Thank you.
Next will be president candidate. I do not intend to add AI to Leap at the moment because finally it is working at the moment and we're able to move forward and to publish the first courses. I think adding something like that would just crash the platform again and we have to wait another 4 years. So no, I do not intend to do that, but what I've been learning or what I'm learning at that job in constructing those courses can help structure the Leap courses in a way that they're engaging and easy to follow for students.
Thank you. Next we have Afif, followed by Anif.
Beatriz out of Portugal. Due, due to your background, we see a tendency to benefit or like bring a lot of attention to the educational department in your application. How do you plan to ensure a position of neutrality so that the best decisions for all projects are made?
Next will be president candidate. Well, dealing with the educational department, and especially also with the training project, is something where I need to actively take a step back because I'm contributing to that. So I plan on like going out of this work and to have a very intense, like very close collaboration with Katja on the matter and to see how she can lead this. Um, when it comes to that, I think I'm able to step out of it and to also support the other projects. I think that right now the educational portfolio is doing good. It can be improved and reworked, but they don't need any special support at the moment as long as we have coordinators in those positions that do the work. I'm not concerned.
Thank you. Next, we have Anef, followed by Yupsa.
Pauline and France, why president and not another position since you've never been on the executive?
Actually, president candidate. Um, I've never been on the EPSA executive, but I've been on other executives in associations in my life, so I've seen the work that it takes. When it comes to the portfolio of the positions within the executives, the portfolio of the president is the one that interests me the most. That is the thing that I will be good at, and that I would shine at. That's where I can contribute and where I can help the association. Regarding the other positions, I don't think I would do a good job at most of them, to be honest. And I respect all the people that do the work in those positions in a good way, but I would not be one of them.
Thank you. Next, we have Yupsa, followed by Anef.
Alperen Yüksel in Turkey. Can you give us an example of a problem that you have faced in your previous positions in EPSA and how you handled it?
Actually president candidate. So one problem that I had as training coordinator was towards the end of the two mandates with a twinit that was happening in Paris, France, and they requested a training, and the trainer that that wanted to do it, when he got in contact with the local association, he made demands that were not suitable. Like he requested things from the local associations that were not okay. So we had to find a different solution in that. Yes, so he was taken out of that, and I tried to support the association with some help and to resolve the situation. So I, together with Andrea back at the time, tried to communicate between those two parties, and they promised, like the trainer especially promised to still do the work and to try again and be more humble. Unfortunately, he dropped out again.
Thank you. Next, we have Anef, followed by PPSA.
Pauline and France, what is your opinion on EPSA engaging solidarity topics which also can be political, such as the Ukraine war or community support, especially as the motion on the LGBTQ plus community is very recently investigated? Thank you.
I'm actually president candidate. So as a European umbrella organization, I think it's important that we go alongside with the European values, and for me, diversity is one of them. When it comes to engaging with those, like with the big topics of our time, it's important that the association does make the stand. I have been witnessing some discussions a few years back when there was European elections, and there was a proposal to uh, that EPSA endorses students to go vote, and that discussion in the GA was leading to a point where it was like the motion was dropped, and EPSA did not endorse to go to. So they decided against that, and ever since then I realized that EPSA is not the association that will have the most political stance. So um, I would not propose these kind of topics.
Next, we have PPSA, followed by President. Now,
Alex, back to Romania. You detail quite a lot on the topic of internal affairs, how you want to handle them, but I feel like you should be more specific on the external part. How will you progress with other organizations, other associations? Thank you.
I'm actually president candidate. So from my understanding is that especially in the external collaboration, European affairs and external relations are the ones who will advise the strategy, and I will help them with that. If I had to come up with a strategy, it's what I already said, to make sure that we meet regularly with the partners that we have, the professional ones. When it comes to the other students association or similar groups, I think it's necessary to use the platforms that we have, especially also the ESS Summer University that is going to be organized next year. We both have a close collaboration, um, and I want to support and to meet with those people.
Elena, as a Switzerland, the motivation in the team strongly depends on the motivation of the president. How will you make sure that you keep your motivation up throughout the whole mandate, especially if not everything goes to plan?
Actually, president candidate, so I have a lot of motivation to do this kind of work because I derive energy from these kind of situations and from doing the association work. I've been doing this for 7 years, and I initially did not want to go on, but when it came to the decision, like if I would be interested in doing this position, like the like I could not have done this. So I have motivation to go. I love working with people, seeing how they also develop and how they come into a new context and face challenges, learn from them, and go on. For example, especially if I can help them. There is problems coming up, but that keeps me busy. Like if there's problems, we need to have a solution and we need to find a way, and that's not always easy, and that can be a hard process. But it's a way to see if we can do it and how we can do it, and it's just so cool.
Elena, after Austria, how would you handle unresponsiveness from team members since, like, due to distance, you can't just knock on their door and say, hello, where are you? Thank you.
So I think it's important to have the communication channels and to have different ways to reach the team. So that's especially in the beginning, make sure that we have the context that we are able to reach them if they do not respond, for example, to an email, and we are not able to reach them. Other ways, like I would reach out personally, I would advise the vice presidents to reach out through different means, texting, calling. If this all is not working, then I would try to involve the member association, see if they are able to talk to the position holder, um, and yeah, engage them. If they are not able and they just vanish, which has happened before in EPSA, then we will have to draw consequences.
Sorry. Beatriz, after Portugal, you were saying that it would have to get to some consequences, but in previous answers, you said that right now some of the consequences are too high, if I understood you correctly. So can you clarify on this, because this is a very serious topic of people not being motivated and possibly like delaying their like quit from the team. So we would like to have this clarified. Thank you.
Next will be president candidate. Well, if someone is completely unresponsive and they want to reach, then the decision is actually very easy because they have made the commitment. And if we cannot talk about it, then we have to remove them from office and with the consequences that are here now. That's why this has been established because of exactly situations like this. Um, the more difficult situation is if they're just having a delayed response. Like if we still are in contact and we're trying to make it work. So if we are still in contact but the work is not being done and the the decisions that we make together are not being held accountable for, then we need to talk, like we need to have a direct talk with the individual and see if like they can drop, and if they still are unwilling, then in the end we have to draw those consequences.
Mara and France, this year, in the report of following, it has already been conducted this kind of like meeting with people to remotivate them, and then consequences have been taken. What will be the concrete difference with your proposition?
I mean, I've seen the reports of Marlene and Gabriel also mentioned that they try to do this. Um, in the end, like we could set ourselves a time limit within the executive that we give them, I don't know, 1 month to make a decision and to assess the situation. And then if we had to go there to do this decision, um, in the end, it really depends on a case by case basis. Is it a person that is motivated and that just has circumstances in life that prevent them from doing the work, and they are but they do not want to damage the association? I strongly believe that then we can talk about it, and also that person can like be coached and mentored into the decision of leaving it, because that sometimes is the better thing to do. If the person is really not seeing the problem and their behavior is damaging EPSA and a danger to EPSA, then we have to take the consequences with everything.
Alex Fast from Romania. On the topic of self-awareness, self-assessment, other than what you mentioned already, what do you think one of your, let's say, biggest weakness would be, and how would you think that it could affect your work? How would you handle that? Thank you.
I think my biggest weakness is not finishing things. So I really love starting things, and especially when it came to like the training project, I had a lot of ideas and how to like what can be improved, but I had a hard time just finishing that, and that's why I like also realized that this is a weakness of mine. Here I would rely also on the executive to keep me accountable, especially because like I can help I can help hold the others accountable, but someone else needs to have me accountable. And I think that that's where we also are a team in the executive itself.
Beatriz? Beatriz, I'm from Portugal. Um, right now, you don't have anyone applying for EPIA. How do you plan to manage DLSs if there's no EPIA? Because we're speaking about a very high workload and meetings that you're planning to do with everyone. So we are kind of worried that if there's no EPIA for long, you will be burned out, not only everyone else.
I saw the president candidate. So I think that the DPIA position is the one that everyone respects, and they see the high workload that is there. And I think that that's also the reason why people so far are not taking the leap to apply to that position. I think that from the positions that are still open, the EPSA team, I'm quite sure that someone will set up, either like from the previous team or from the LSs here. But it's not usually done that like an LS just goes to become the PIA. So it's a scary step to take. I think if there's really no one willing with the team experience, then I would like to encourage all of you to do it. And if there's no one, in the end, really no one to do it, then we need to also see how we can, with the team, with like an increased workload within the body project, do this, and together with the rest of the executive team, make sure that information flow and engagement is happening.
Beatriz of Portugal. Uh, it's a fair comment what you just said, but in your application you talk about reduce the subjective workload and stress levels of the team, and this, if there's no PPIA and if you're intending to increase the workload for the team, we really think that this can lead to uh, further further demotivation from everyone. So I think this is something that if this goes forward, you really have to think about and get the help from all the LSs on this matter because it's a very serious issue.
I do agree, actually, president candidate, and of course it would be good to have every position filled in order to be able to work properly and to reduce the stress within the team. If we have the problem of positions that are empty, like we have to make sure, I have to make sure that the work is done. So, and that will like that will result in increased stress levels. Unfortunately, I'm aware of that. That's why the most important thing is to elect and get someone to become PA.
Alien KBC the Netherlands. A while back, you mentioned that all of the other positions in the executive are not for you, and you do not feel like you could perform them well. However, there are still spots empty. Moreover, there's always a chance of someone dropping out. So, can you elaborate on what you will do then?
Actually, president candidate, well, my answer is the same as before. I think that we need to divide the workload, that we need to see which tasks are crucial to perform, and to see if there's tasks that are not as crucial that we can deprioritize. When it comes to performing those tasks, then we have to see within the existing executive of how we can allocate the ones that fit with the portfolio of other position holders. Yeah.
Alien KBC Netherlands. Can you then elaborate on which of these now divided tasks you will take on? Because it sounds like from the previous thing you mentioned that you cannot do them, and that's a bit concerning.
Actually, president candidate. Yeah, I know what I did there when I said that. Um, so I will not be able to do all like the whole portfolio, but when it, for example, comes to external relations, I'm very good at networking also with the partners and making sure that like the collaborations are sticking. So I would be happy to take that over and to take some of the partnerships. When it comes to staying in contact with the LSs, I think that we together can at the executive meetings devise like when we have to contact the LSs and how we do this. I'm able to facilitate online LS meetings or any meetings that are there. Um, yeah, that's like the two most important things.
Marion and France, you have been saying that you were missing some technical skills before, and now you've got them. How can we trust you on this point since we believe it's an important task as president?
I'm actually trainer president candidate, so I have made mistakes, especially also in this position and also in my positions in the PhD that I took 2 years ago. I got the feedback, and especially towards the end, I tried to gather as much feedback on what I can improve for the future collaboration with those individuals. Um, so I try to like be better at the communication that I do. At the end, you can trust. Like I can only like say this and give you my word. And in the end, there's a lot of people here that have been seeing how I communicate in the past, and also there are people here that see how I communicate now. Um, so you will get the feedback from them, I guess.
Daily booms in Turkey, maybe an example could help about your 2-year mandate.
Actually, president candidate, I would stick to the example I was giving before, that I had a hard time not communicating on where I was with the project. Um, and how I was developing that project. Right now, recently, I have taken over the facilitation of creating the strategic plan for BPHD for the current team as an external advisor. And so I've been working with them and like developing this plan and trying to communicate the steps that were happening, and when there was delays in the process, to be upfront about those delays and give new timeframes when I would be able to do it.
Eğitimsa Türkiye. In your application, you stated that you will focus on the outcome for students created by each project, implement impact measurements. Can you elaborate more on what measurements are you planning on implementing? Thank you.
Actually, president candidate, well, I would continue all the work that and the investigation that have been made by the current executive and by the current team. The proposals that they have brought up, I think, were to implement feedback forms where we have projects, and then we will to let students evaluate and to give the opportunity and space to evaluate those. I think when it comes to doing impact measurements and evaluation, it's first of all important to start with those forms and to provide the space where people can give the feedback. And then it's important to ask the right questions for each project or for each activity that we provide. That's where we need the feedback in order to evaluate that. I've done just took time. I've done evaluation and measurement in my trainings for training sessions, but also for training events like TNTs, where we like really want to see the how to develop that.
Beatriz, I'm in Portugal. Uh, it is very important for the president to be aware of EPSA's regulations to avoid future problems, obviously. What would you do to avoid there being uh, people going against the regulations, and what would you do if they did?
I'm actually president candidate. So I think it's important that the communication from the team is working on a good level, so that the issues that the vice presidents and also the parliamentary council are aware of all the work that people are doing, because then we can track best if someone is going against the regulations. So we need to assess that, and also in individual talks. I know the EPSA regulations at the moment, but like it's a lot, so I don't know them in detail. So for the next 10 weeks, I think Torso will become a nighttime reading in order to get more familiar and to be able to know when people are proposing something, if it would go against regulations or not. But I would also plan on having a close collaboration with the parliamentarian and with the PC. If someone goes against regulations, then we need to step in as an executive and see if there's damage done, and we can return the action that the person has been done. If it already has consequences, we need to address these.
Naila Aluna, um, hello. Yes, Naila Aluna, how do you see the relation with the alumni and their contribution to ESA?
Actually, president candidate, I think that the alumni are an integral part of the way that EPSA is working. The alumni have done this job that we're about to do in the next year before many times, and the ones that are still motivated to contribute and to give their opinions, I would like to include and to give open spaces, just as the previous teams did. I know quite a few of them and quite a few of you because I've been around for some time. So I'm not afraid to ask you for input, also to to justify the decisions and make a stand. But I think that it's important that, especially with the alumni advisory board, that we use this platform and that we use the input that the alumni have to give.
Thank you. Next, we have Anya.
Pauline Alain France. Um, what should be EPSA plan regarding the next European election? Thank you.
Actually, president candidate. As I mentioned before, I was there when EPSA tried to plan for the last European election. Um, I think what's important is to showcase that the election is happening and what also give the input from the Brussels side and from the type of points that are important for our advocacy. So to give to showcase the opinions and positions that the parties and the members of the parliament that are running have, and educate our students about them. If it were up to me, I would also endorse students to go vote. But as this has been a tricky subject before, we will see within the executive and maybe in the GA if we endorse that or not.
Pauline Alain France. And so what position should EPSA advocate for?
Actually, president candidate, go vote, use your voice, and make a decision. In the end, each individual is responsible. EPSA will assess the positions that the running parties have towards the pharmacy curriculum and also the future of pharmacy, and we can showcase that. But I think that everyone has to make the decision of their own in the end, every student, so we can be able to provide the knowledge as a platform.
So, Pauline Alain France. So EPSA should not advocate for all the previous work on mental health, for example, or the other position papers that EPSA have. You said that everyone should have their own opinion, and you didn't talk about EPSA position. So, what do you think about EPSA position, and which one should EPSA advocate for them?
Actually, president candidate, I'm sorry if I was not clear with that. I think it's important to showcase especially for the topics that EPSA is advocating for, and to showcase the different proposals and opinions that the people that are running and the parties that are running have, and to showcase to give an informed overview and to give the students the ability to have every information and to make a decision based on that. So we need to showcase our positions and what they did relate to, but in the end, we're not a political association that will say go in this direction. We can just advocate and showcase how the people are standing on that.
Thank you. I have another Go ahead.
And do you think EPSA should have has a position on the Europe of Health, because it will be a huge debate for the European elections and a huge difference for MEP? So, what do you think about that?
Europe of health?
Actually, president candidate, um, I think it's important to see that to assess the position on the future of health and to see how we can contribute um, to those to the specific topic. But I'm very honest, I have not thought about this specific situation before, so I cannot give my opinion on it because I haven't thought about it.
Mahmoud and France, how much time have you consecrated to training coordinators like per week when you were in EPSA team? And how much time do you plan to spend per week as president?
Actually, president candidate. When I was training coordinator, I was working for the training project roughly 5 hours a week because I was working a full-time job, doing an internship on the side and also doing a position in the PhD. So I tried to do more, but I usually was able to make 5 hours per week. Right now, for this position, I would like to dedicate about 10 hours per week into working for EPSA. And then additional meetings, depending on the week and also on the workload in the moment, where we need to talk. I will see what comes up, but I'm able to put at least 10 hours in. Because of my job situation, I could put, in different weeks, put up to 40, 50 hours in when I'm not doing a job. Um, but I would also like to have some personal time. Actually, President candidates, thank you all for your questions and for hearing me out. I'm sure there will be some discussions going on now. It has been an interesting time and interesting, especially the last 2 days. But no matter what happens, I know that in I don't know 5 years, 10 years, when we have all moved on from this and I will have my life sorted out somewhere. I will look back at this and I would like to be in this moment again, just to relive it again, even though it's stressful. But the whole experience of us coming together is just something so magical, and I'm happy that we are able to do that. And I hope in the end you will be able to trust me and trust my motivation for EPSA and for pharmacy students. So thank you.
Discussion. So I would ask someone to go with Max outside.